Warning, the Stone Age Gamer includes a lot of bad language. Cover your mother***ing ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. I'm Kris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Bubble Icon Dan Ryan.
Bubble Icon? All right.
Yeah, you know, the Vita had like the menu was just all those floating bubbles.
All right. I thought I was trying to figure out how that was a Sea of Stars thing.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Okay, there.
Okay.
It's time for the PlayStation Vita Starter Kit. You got $100 to start a physical Vita collection. Which games should you get? Sign up for some cellular service because the Stone Age Gamer Podcast starts now.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you know what? I did too. I cracked open my Vita not that long ago, and I was like, there was all these AT&T card information in there. I was like, hey, oh wow, this was a thing. Hi everyone, this is episode 479. It's the week of September 8th, 2023, and today is my son's 10th birthday.
Yay!
John is officially 10 years old. I have been a parent for a decade.
It's weird, right?
I'm still alive. I survived to tell the experience of 10 years of being a parent. Yeah, a little weird. We had a great day. We woke up and made some cinnamon rolls for him. I just got the canned ones. He's fine with that. He likes them without the frosting too. So he's just
that's
dry cinnamon rolls for breakfast.
Katie eats dry salad. She doesn't put dressing on her salad. I don't. Yeah, right. It's fucking weird.
That's wow. All right. I mean, hey, to each their own.
No, I disagree entirely. But continue.
And then so he's been super into fish lately. So we took him out to the Camden Aquarium today, and I don't remember, if you remember last year we took him out to the museum in Philly to show him like the T-Rex skeleton.
Yeah.
And he was like super stoked. This was an even bigger win. He was fucking thrilled. So he's been playing a couple of months back. He was obsessively playing Animal Crossing again, like just out of nowhere. Like, yeah, I'm back in Animal Crossing, and he was really into catching all the fish. And the rarest fish of that month was the mahi-mahi, and he became obsessed with catching a mahi-mahi. And when he finally caught one, he lost his damn mind. He was just so happy, and he's been kind of super into fish ever since. And so Karen found him a plush mahi-mahi, which was his big present today, because like we've got stuff happening for him all weekend,
right?
Which I'll get to in a bit. So he took the plush mahi-mahi with him to the aquarium to show it to all the other fish.
That's awesome.
It was wonderful. I've never seen a kid so happy for a plush fish before. It was just outstanding.
Amen.
Yeah, so it was like he was thrilled all day long, and then when we came home and I made pizza and we watched Finding Nemo for his movie pick, and then he went to bed. And yeah, he had a really good birthday. He was one happy dude.
That's great.
But this week has been like very John's birthday centric, because since he's 10, we figured it was time. I mean, it was way past time to redo his bedroom.
Sure.
So it was kind of still in a very little kid's bedroom. Like, Karen painted a truck on his wall, and he had like big John letters up there. Like, it was a little kid's room.
Yeah.
He had very much outgrown it. And I had been like looking around his room, like kind of pushing to be like, we should redo his room soon. And then like this became it. So our big present for him is going to be a TV in his room.
That's
exciting. Come with some rules. It's going to come with some rules, but we found a super cheap one at Best Buy that I bought earlier last night, I think. And we're going to go pick it up tomorrow. He doesn't know this yet, but
nice.
We have a secondary switch and the dock, and we're going to put that in his room. It's a smart TV, so he'll be able to do like the YouTube on it and whatnot, and just we're going to lay down some rules and make sure volume control is a thing. And we're probably never going to see him again.
No, which is awesome. When we like stopped seeing the kids, that was fucking great. It was awesome. Just barely see them now. It's amazing. Like I come home and like I sometimes get a hey, like from the other side of the house, and then I'll call them for dinner, and they'll come down and be like, they're like fucking cats. Like they'll come downstairs and look at what's on the plate and be like, oh, all right, I guess, okay, that's fine. I'm going to eat it real quick and not say anything to you and then be like, all right, bye. Jesus. Fuck, man.
It's so much to look forward to.
Oh, it's great. But then they'll also come down and like say really weird shit or be super funny at times too. Like I'm half kidding. My kids really aren't all that bad, but it is very very common for me to be home for like a few hours and either Penn or Katie to come downstairs and be like, I didn't know you were home. Well, you're an asshole. That's why. That's why you didn't know. You're fucking dick.
So yeah, we rearranged his furniture. We painted his room. We're getting him a few little extra things. Like he's got just way too many stuffed animals. He just has too many stuffies.
Yeah, we talked about that last week with the little thing to put him in.
Yeah, the beanbag chair. That worked out great. So we gave him that already, like as an ahead of time thing. Like, all right, we painted your room, we moved your furniture around, and here's the beanbag chair, and all his room looks so much bigger the way we rearranged it now. It's great.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's been a lot of my week. That, and I started I got a promotion with Stone Age Gamer, which is I'm now involved a lot more in customer service, which is a lot. Like. I was kind of prepared, but not really. Like, the amount of stuff that goes on behind the scenes at Stone Age Gamer is like, it's a lot. And it's been a really exciting week learning how to do all of it. But like that, redoing John's room, preparing for his birthday party, and also preparing for them to go back to school next week. So like me waking up early in the morning again, like to just kind of get back in the routine, has wrecked me. I came down with something nasty this morning, and I've been pretty sick all day. Like at the aquarium, I was like a zombie for at least an hour or two, which was, I put on a great face. Like the kids barely noticed that I was sick, but like every time they turned around or were looking at a fish, I was like,
I'm gonna die here in the aquarium. It's the worst.
Yeah, it was. It's been a brutal day, so I'm glad we're doing the Vita starter kit because I have shit to say about that.
Because it's gonna be real quick. Should you? What should you get for a Vita? Nothing. That's what you should get. Fucking nothing.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be fun. Let's see. I know I got some stuff to talk about. I didn't get a chance to try the Ninja Turtles DLC. Did you?
No, I didn't. I started a new assignment at work this week, and that has been like the only thing. That and Sea of Stars really has been like the focus. Just like Sea of Stars came out.
Yeah, we'll finish with that. We'll talk about all the other shit first.
I'm guns to play Sea of Stars.
Oh yes. Not nearly as much as I had hoped, but
no, certainly not.
Let's see. All right, so John got super into Pokemon. I think I mentioned this last week. Did I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, he borrowed it. This is great. What I didn't realize is that he has not been employing any strategy in this game at all.
Oh no,
he's just been straight up brute forcing Pokemon Shield, and he was just determined to beat. He really wanted to beat the game before he had to give it back to his cousin, but he also really wanted to beat it before his birthday. It was like he had this mission. He really wanted to beat the last boss, and he was like just about to the last boss.
So they're called gym leaders, Chris?
Not the last gym leader. He kept
there you go. Thank you.
So
if he's going to be into Pokemon, he needs to know the lingo.
It was like, what the hell's his character's name? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Some goofy looking dude with giant hair and a weird goatee, and he was very nice. Like, he was a really nice guy. He was like, yeah, it's really great to be battling with you. You're really good at this. And then, like, I don't know. So John gets to this guy, Leon, right? It was something Leon, gym leader Leon, whatever. He gets to this guy, and he's just like, I'm in the other room doing dishes, and I come out, and he's just on the floor, just tears in his eyes, like super frustrated. He can't beat this guy. And I'm like,
Aw.
no, he's the last boss of the game, you know? You can't really expect to just beat him first try. He's like, but I got the Eternatus, and I'm like, I just can't beat him. His Charizard is impossible to beat. His Dynamax Charizard is impossible. And so, like, I was going to go upstairs and take a shower because I had done yard work for several hours that morning, which I'll get to. And instead, I sat down and I was like, let's figure this out. Talk to me. Tell me about this Leon guy. What has he got? And he starts talking to me about his Pokemon, and he starts talking to me about his Pokemon. And I'm like, all right, what's your strategy? It's like, well, I got these Pokemon, and I just start at the top, and I just, every time one dies, I move on to the next one.
Nope.
Oh.
It's not it.
Okay. Let's go fight him. Let's just investigate. We're just going to go investigate. We're not going to beat him. We're just going to go and fight him and test some things. Okay. We're just going in there for some strategy. He's like, all right. So we go there and he brings out his first Pokemon. Don't ask me the names of any of these Pokemon. These are these new generation Pokemon. I don't fucking know any of them. So
was it a rabbit
Pokemon.
Or
No. These are the last boss ones. So it's not like Scorbunny or Sobble or anything like that. Those ones, at least I know, the starters. These are like super weird shit. They all look
okay. All right.
One looks like a TV or I don't know. It's all weird.
Because like
he brings out a Pokemon.
That's the game. Sword and Shield are the ones with Scorbunny and Gorilla.
Yeah, he started
whatever.
with Sobble. Yeah,
Okay.
he started with Sobble.
All right.
So he brings out his first Pokemon, and John's like, all right, and here we go. This is what I'm going to do. I'm like, no, stop. There's no time limit here. You can sit here and look at this. What is this Pokemon's name? Let's look him up. So I get on my phone. I look up the Pokemon. I look up what type of Pokemon it is. And I'm like, all right, so that means that he's weak to these types. What Pokemon do you have in your inventory that can fight this guy? And he was like, I don't know. I just use this one. I'm like, well, that's not, you keep dying. So clearly it's not working. Let's try something else.
Try something other than, the failed strategy.
So we looked through his Pokemon and we figured out like, oh, this one can survive this one's attack and can deal a lot of damage. Super effective. And like, it just fucking worked. We were making it through the whole thing, all the way up until the Dynamax Charizard. Like, he was actually doing really well. He had trained up his Pokemon pretty darn well. He had a nice team. He just didn't really realize how to use them properly. Like, what's the advantage of switching Pokemon between bouts? Because they say like, oh, he's going to bring out this thing. So when he beat a Pokemon, they said he was going to bring out this thing, and then we look up what that thing was and try it out. But then like, he'd kill one of his Pokemon, and I'd be like, that's it. It's all over. I can't beat him now because he beat my Pokemon. I was like, no, it's not over yet. That just means you're tied, right? You've taken out 2 of his. He's taken out 2 of yours. You guys are back on even footing. It's fine. And I kept having to calm him down because like, he just got very negative about the whole situation. Like, as soon as one goes down, they all go down. I was like, no, that's not how this works. We just have to play smart. And we're not here to beat him. We're just here to learn what we can do. So we got through all of his main Pokemon pretty easily, to be perfectly honest. Like, he lost like 1 or 2, but like, we made it out to the Dynamax Charizard, and we're like, all right, this is it. We beat this and we beat the game. This is the part that you're stuck on, right? He's like, I haven't even gotten to this part yet. I just know what happens. Like, right, because he watched his cousin beat it before.
Right.
Okay, well, here we go. Let's see what it does. We've got, what did I bring out? I brought out his Onix, because the Onix had like a rock move that would hurt Charizard, and like, Charizard just one-shotted the Onix. I was like, oh, shit. All right. So we brought in another one, and another one of his Pokemon. Charizard one-shotted him again. I was like, all right, I see what we're up against. We're gonna have to come up with some strategies. Do you have any healing moves? He's like, no, I don't have any healing Pokemon. I'm like, okay, well, let's check your items. He has 0 items. He has no healing at all. No, nothing to revive, nothing to heal any hit points. He's got nothing. He's so completely ill-prepared. But then we brought out Eternatus, and he could survive a hit from the Charizard.
Yeah.
And like, then we beat him. And like, the look of elation in his face, we finally beat him. It's like the Eternatus was able to just barely beat the Dynamax Charizard. And he was like, we did it. We did it. He was so happy. We did it the night before his birthday.
That's
and
awesome.
He was just like the happiest dude. I loved it. But I was so thrilled because, like, I guess I didn't piece together quite how much Pokemon is for him, because he's such a detail-oriented kid.
Yeah.
He loves memorizing details about shit. So, like, I have got to get this kid a Pokedex and just, like, here's the book. Here's all the Pokemon and what their weaknesses are. Go. Just read this, memorize it, and then you will be a Pokemon master in no time.
Yep. That is 100%. John is similar to my girls, right? In that respect of, like, specifically Katie. Once she started getting into Pokemon, we got her the book, whatever the version was at that time. And she read through and she was like, well, this is weak against this, and this has this, and this thing does this, and if you Mega Evolve this and that. And I was like, all right, fucking let's do it. Awesome. Very happy. Love this plan. Happy to be a part of it.
Fantastic. So yeah, I'm probably going to wind up getting him a Pokemon, what's the Scarlet or Violet for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
He's still into it because he seems to go through these phases real quick. So,
well, he's a kid.
Yeah, he's a kid. That's what he does. Meanwhile, back to the yard work, right? Because yard work's important.
Mm-hmm.
I need new tools, like very much so. This
Sure.
new lawnmower I got is still a gas powered mower, and it does the job. But I didn't get a chance to mow last week,
Right.
So mowing this week, even that the gas powered one kept stalling out. The grass gets so thick in this one part of my yard, and so fast that if I let it go for a week, even the gas mower can't handle this grass. Like, it's just like getting clogged up. And I know I don't have to put it on the lowest setting, but I'm a fucking lunatic. If the grass isn't that low, then if I don't cut it short, it just doesn't look as good to me. I'm a Looney Tune.
You could cut it twice. It's an option, like you put it up and go over the thick patch, and then you put it down and go over it again.
Well, see, I tried that, but even once I get down to the bottom part, that's where the trouble is, because it's super thick at the bottom.
Okay.
Like, once it gets down there, it retains a ton of water, and it just, like, even if it's been dry for a couple of days, it still retains all this water down there. So when I cut it to the length that I want it to be, it's just like it has no interest in being cut. So, like, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to get just that one patch of my yard cut properly. And like I said, I know I could cut it longer and just move on with my life. But when I do that, I feel like it doesn't look as clean, and I'm a nutcase. So what I need some sort of better lawnmower situation in my future, which, you know, I bought a secondhand mower to begin with, so I need something stronger. I want something strong. I don't need. That's the thing I need to specify. I personally need something stronger. I need a more fuck you lawnmower is what I need. I need a lawnmower that's not impressed by grass. Like, this lawnmower's like, all right, you got some nice grass. That's fine. I can cut through that. But this isn't nice grass. This is angry weed grass. That's like, it's green, so that's all that matters to me. But it's not like turf. Like, this shit's out for blood. And it's not impressed by my lawnmower. So I need something that my lawnmower, like, I need a lawnmower that's not going to be impressed by this grass. The other thing that I need is I need to get an edge trimmer that's more serious. Now, I have the trencher, right? I got that for Christmas.
Yeah.
And it worked great like the first 2 times I used it, but now it's not doing anything. I assume it's because I wore down the blade, which I guess I somehow did that super fast. But, like, I run it across, like okay, here it goes, right there. The blade's spinning, but it's not doing anything. It's not reaching deep enough into the ground to cut anything. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand why it's not doing things. Doesn't make any sense to me, but I can't get it to actually function the way I want it to anymore. And when I look at the blade, it looks like it's pretty severely worn down. looks like there should be more blade there. So I'm going to look into that. But either way, I need
there
a
should
better...
be like, you should have a local like lawn and gardener, Ace Hardware or something that'll do like blade sharpening relatively affordably, I would imagine.
As far as I can tell, there aren't any places nearby that do repairs anymore. The Ace by me doesn't do it anymore.
They won't even blade sharpen? I mean, that's not like a repair.
As far as I know, no. Last time I asked them about anything dealing with servicing equipment, they said, no, we don't do it anymore. So, I don't know.
Get yourself a fucking whetstone or whatever. Start fucking doing that shit yourself.
See, that's the thing. It's not that I don't think that it's sharp enough. I think there's not enough of the blade. Like, I think I wore the metal down as in, like, there's less of it. It's not going deep enough into the ground to properly cut things. You know what I mean? Like, there should be another centimeter on the blade, and it's just not there anymore. So, I don't know. That's my theory. I haven't really messed with it. But regardless, what I'm really after is... What I've been doing for years is just getting cheap weed whackers.
Yeah.
And what I really need is a proper, like edge trimmer, I think is what they're called. But I want, one of the ones that's on a stick. I don't necessarily want it gas powered, but like,
sure,
I need something that's going to be able to use that thick, like wound up, not wound up, like braided kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because the problem that I run into is I have just the most luscious weeds growing out of my sidewalk cracks. The greenest shit in my yard is growing in the places I don't want it. Like, I have a bunch of stones lined up, and that's where the greenest of the green grass is growing underneath the fucking stones I laid down. And it's growing in all the sidewalk cracks, and it's growing all over the curb. And like the shitty weed whackers that I have, like that twine just rips right off. It just doesn't do the trick. It's great for actually whacking weeds, but when I'm trying to like edge trim, like if I hit the sidewalk once, the twine just snaps.
Yeah.
Like I gotta feed out some more. I'll go through spools of those things and like an entire spool just trying to get my yard done once, which is not sustainable. There's no way that's supposed to be that way. I need something that's one of those like serious ones that can stand up to hitting pavement, because I need to be able to just take the weed whacker to whack down those whack those weeds. You know what I mean?
I feel like you need a goat. That's what you need. You need a goat that'll just go out there and chew them down, take care of that for you.
I don't feel like taking care of him,
The goat?
A goat would be... Yeah, I don't feel like taking care of a goat. I just don't. I would love to have a goat to go out there and take care of that shit for me, but then I have to like actually take care of it, and I take care of enough, right? I can barely take care of the fish that I have.
I don't know. I feel like goats are pretty self-sufficient.
I think goats are assholes. That's what I think. They got rectangles in their eyes. I don't trust that shit.
That's fair.
Weird rectangular pupils.
Fucking demons.
So yeah, that's where I'm at with yard work. I really need to get some... I'm over the next couple of years, I'm going to invest in better lawn care equipment, because I freaking love doing it, and I keep like hobbling through with the lowest... what's the cheapest way I can get this job done? I'm going to start investing in some better lawn equipment. I think that's important.
Well, that's like it. So there was a discussion earlier today that I saw. I wasn't able to like really jump in and take part, but of building the arcade cabinet, the one we built for you. And like, I appreciate again the kind words of like the one Dan built was really nice. I can only imagine how much better it would have been if I had the proper tools. Like, I did that with a circular saw, and that's it. And that is not the proper tool for that job. For big, long cuts, like I had to make for the sides of the cabinet and whatnot, and certain parts that would, like, that should have been cut on a fucking table saw. Like, I should have fed it through in a nice straight line. But no, like, I didn't even have a track sled for my fucking circular saw. I just had to eyeball that shit. And I'm just fucking looking at it and going real slow. And like, for certain cuts where like there were rounded pieces, that would have been way better to do like on a bandsaw, instead of the jigsaw that I used. I didn't have, there were certain parts of it where I had to cut things like in a circular pattern for different bits. And that basically I didn't have anything to cut it with other than like, well, I'll drill a hole in the middle and then I'll just take the jigsaw and try to cut a circle. Like that. And there are tools for this shit so that you don't have to do that. And it makes it so much fucking harder to do shit without that. Like, I don't think back to when we were working at Prince Plus, right? We had that frame
As I
chopper.
often do.
Right. Oh god, I love that job. Are you kidding me? If I could make a living doing that shit, that was my favorite job I've ever had. It's literally because we did fucking nothing. It was amazing. Old women called me Precious because they thought that was my name because we wrote Precious Roy on the name tag. Yes, Precious, that's me. What can I do for you?
Suckers!
I like this picture of, let me guess, 2 Adirondack chairs. That's the one you want framed in this driftwood looking bullshit? I got you, don't worry. I got one in the back already made. I knew you were coming in.
This cheap-ass composite that cost this company like 30 cents.
Oh
yeah, we'll charge
God.
you $50 for
Yeah,
it.
totally fine. Totally fine. Oh, you want to frame the Kramer, do you? Oh, that's original. That's never happened before. That's weird. God, I fucking love that job. I loved it so much. Anyway,
It was a great job.
Like, making frames
Yeah, it was like that
super
thing to
easy.
cut the
Yeah.
frames. You just
You
like step
put
on
it
that
in
pedal and it would
step
cut
on the
the
pedal,
angle
and it was done.
perfectly. Yeah.
Have you ever tried to cut molding at a 45-degree angle with a fucking handsaw? Or for a frame? That shit fucking sucks. It sucks. We have this big print, like a not a canvas, but it's not like a silk screen, but like for a tapestry. There you go. Let's go with a fucking tapestry. We have this big Van Gogh tapestry hanging in our bedroom, and we framed it out, like we got molding. I was fucking cutting the angles like with a handsaw and whatever. And it was okay. It wasn't perfect though, because your hand slips a little. And if you go off just a little bit and you're trying to get those two angles together and you're just a tiny bit off, the whole thing is fucked. Right? So that super sucked. So when I got a miter saw for Christmas, I was like, well, I'm fucking redoing that shit. And instead of shuka, going back and forth and like trying to hold the angle, I just went, zzz. Oh, perfectly cut each time. Nice. And instead of a half-hour job, it took, 2 minutes. Cut, flip, cut, flip, cut, flip, cut, flip, done. And it's perfect. So, short story long, yes, invest in better tools. Makes your life a lot easier.
Right. Yeah. The right tools for the job are very important.
Well, and it really comes to, like, there's a reason that they made these tools.
It's true.
Like, there's a
Somebody
reason
said,
this
well,
shit
this isn't the
exists.
right. Somebody needs to do this correctly.
Yeah. It's
well, I'll tell you what doesn't suck.
Okay.
What doesn't suck is the stromboli I made for dinner tonight.
Oh, okay. Even
check
not
this
feeling
shit out.
well, you made a stromboli. Look at you.
So, yeah, because, all right, so here's the deal. I woke up this morning. We knew that John wanted pizza for dinner. Pizza
Right.
movie night. All right, that's fine. I'll make the dough before we go out to the aquarium, and then I'll come back and I'll make pizza, and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then, I started feeling like shit, and that plan did not go to hell because it's John's birthday. He wants pizza for dinner. That's what I'm doing. There was also a chance.
What it has to be.
There was a chance that his cousins were going to come over for dinner, so I made four portions instead of 3. Which is what I usually make. The cousins wound up not coming over, so I was
Thank
like, all right,
God,
well,
because we hate them.
I have this fourth one, right? I have this fourth batch of dough. What should I do with it? I'll make a stromboli because I like strombolis, and I haven't.
Sure.
I have been struggling with making strombolis for a very long time. I basically just kind of, make a pizza and fold it in half is more or less the basic principle. And I do a few things slightly different. But this was the first time I actually fucking nailed the stromboli.
Nice.
So what I did was I had extra sausage. I cooked up some extra sausage. I grabbed some spinach, and then I diced an onion, or half an onion, and like a couple of cloves of garlic. And I just kind of sauteed all that shit together, and it was great. I did the pizza dough a little bit smaller than I would usually make for a pizza crust, just a little bit smaller. And I dumped all that shit in there, and then I used exactly the same amount of cheese I would for an entire pie, right?
Okay.
But only doing half of it, so it was like just extra cheesy. And then, and this is the part that I fucked up many times before, I wet the outside of the half circle, right? Because I used to just like fold it over and be done with it, but that's fucking stupid. You need to wet it so that the dough sticks to itself and makes a
everybody
proper
knows
seal.
that. Everybody knows you wet the dough. Come on, Chris.
Then the thing that I cut 3 holes in the top of it, and then I made this like butter Parmesan basil glaze. Not glaze, just like something to brush it with. I just melted some butter, I did some Parmesan, and I did some I grabbed some fresh basil and chopped that up real small, and then I brushed that whole shit with it, and then I slapped that fucker on the pizza stone. Like maybe 6 or 7 minutes later, it came out this glorious golden brown, and I cut into it, and it was fucking perfect. I wind up so often when I do this with like a really thick amount of crust on just the outside perimeter of it. So I'm like, I wind up eating just dough for a while before I get to the actual insides. But I was able to successfully get it pushed out all the way to the ends as far as I wanted to without creating that extra pillow cushion on the outside. And it was so tasty. I can't believe I nailed it. After years of trying, I finally nailed a stromboli. I was so happy with it.
That's awesome.
Very, very happy.
I listen to your cooking adventures, and I continuously think to myself, man, maybe one day I'll learn to cook. And then as soon as we're done talking, I do not have that thought again until the next time you bring it up. Because it
floats away.
God, I just fucking hate it. I hate it so much. I despise cooking. And I don't know why. I just fucking hate it to pieces. And it's kind of working out because the kids are really interested in cooking. They're both really interested in like trying new things and making new things. Katie's been getting really, really good with doing like meal kind of things, whereas Penn has been focusing, and not that it's not a meal, but like Penn has been focusing on pizza and baking. Like, those are the two things that she's been leaning towards. So, like, between both of my kids, I got the whole fucking day covered. You know what I mean? Like, they're fucking killing it. And they're doing a great job. And it's really awesome to see them, like, jump into it, like, feet first and be excited about it and talk, oh, can we go to the grocery store so we can get this? It's like, that's a fucking weird request. But, yeah, let's give it a shot and see how it works out. Yeah. That's really cool. And it is just... Not only is it something that I hate, but I'm just not good at it. I'm just not. Like, I could follow a recipe, sure, but it's just not a thing I have an aptitude for, which makes me hate it even more. You know what I mean? Because there's certain things
It's good to know your limits.
There's certain things I'll try to do and it won't work, and I'll be like, well, this is fucking stupid. And that's the attitude I get, like very immature. Well, this is fucking dumb anyway, and I didn't want to do it. You know, it's very childish.
So, anyway, let's talk video games, huh?
No. It's fucking not.
I played some games.
What'd you play?
This was actually a very eventful week.
Okay.
In the realm of video games. So I did it. My mission was to finish Tears of the Kingdom before Sea of Stars.
Oh, right,
Sea of Stars dropped on the 29th. I finished Tears of the Kingdom on the 28th.
Nice.
I made that shit happen, and it was great. Warning, I am about to spoil the heck out of the end of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you don't want to hear about the ending of this game, fast forward to about 45 minutes and 40 seconds. That ought to do it. You've been warned. So I was under the impression that just like Breath of the Wild, I was going to get to Ganondorf and I was just going to wreck his shit.
Sure.
Because I was kind of unreasonably powerful by that point. And I did beat him first try, but it was close.
Really?
Because his second form is no fucking joke. Which I was really excited by. This whole final battle sequence was fantastic. Right down to, which I have to assume was a direct nod to that Space World 2000 tech demo for the GameCube before it came out, where Ganon does the whole like little hand wave, like,
yeah,
come on. He did that during the sword fight with him.
Nice.
It's like, oh shit, this is great. So like, I get there the first time and I do exactly what I expected to. I wreck his shit. He brings out like 10 Phantom Ganons at the same time, and like you got to fight all 10 of these things at the same time. I'm like,
no
okay.
problem.
No problem. Like this cinematic is looking all dramatic, and then all my little helper guys show up and they're like, we're here to help you take on these things. I'm like, okay, yeah, do your thing, guys.
Don't worry, guys, I got it. We're good.
So, like they're fighting, and I just walk up and one shot them. Like, you done.
Nice.
You done. So I just totally wreck these guys. And then Ganon's just like, well, that was interesting. Gotta go.
Later.
So like he disappears, and you got to go back to this like town nearby, and they're like, so where the fuck is he? Like, you know, we looked all around the castle and like this ghost version of him showed up. He did all these phantoms. Where the fuck is he? Like, he's underground, guys. He's in that big hole underneath the castle. That's where he is.
That big Ganon-shaped hole.
You travel back down this hole, and once you get all the way to the bottom, you get to the area where you found him in the very beginning of the game. And during that segment, I noticed this when I restarted the game to play through with John, when he stuck with it for like a week or so. But when I was replaying the beginning, there's like Zelda reads these like hieroglyphics on the wall, and then a bunch of them are blocked off by these fallen rocks. She's like, oh shit, there's all these fallen rock. I can't read these ones. I wonder what they say. Yeah. And like, oh, I can finally blow this up. What do they say? Oh my God. It's like, all right, so big, fat spoiler alert right here. Where's the timestamp on this? Because you're not going to play this.
Nope.
And I really want to talk about it because it's really cool, but I also don't want to mess with anything here. So I'm at 39:12. Spoiler alert. I'm going to write this down. 39, because Evan's not editing. I am. Spoiler tag. All right. So the whole story of this game is like Zelda is lost in time. You find Ganondorf in the beginning, and he's all like, you know, dead skeleton-y guy. And then he fucks you up. Like he just shoots some weird shit at you and breaks the Master Sword, completely destroys your arm. And then like the ground collapses under Zelda. She falls. You jump to catch her, but you miss. And like as she's falling into the abyss, she disappears into a poof of light. You're like, the fuck? And then a hand catches you, and that's a whole other thing. But
that's a whole
what you find out during the course of the game is that Zelda, she has this secret stone thing, and she's actually the Sage of Time, and she accidentally sent herself way into the past. And so she's like trapped in the past. And so you get the Master Sword eventually because you are able to get to this like kind of like fulcrum point, or I don't know if I'm using that word right, but you get to this point
I know
where
what you
can
mean.
kind of send the remains of the sword back to her inadvertently, and then she gets and she's like, awesome, I can fix this shit. It's just going to take time, which you have because you're in the future. So like when you get the Master Sword, it's been charging for like thousands of years, so it's like super strong when you get it, which is great. So when you go to these hieroglyphics at the end and you blow up those walls, it's Zelda getting the sword and then like giving it back to you so you can fight Ganon at the end of the game. It's like the ending of the game was there the whole time because she went back into the past and did it. So the hieroglyphics you couldn't see were the end of the game that you're playing right now, which was really fucking cool.
That is really cool.
It is really cool. All right, so another thing that happened with Zelda is that, so like there are these secret stones that all these the sages have, and that's like kind of how Ganondorf gets it, right? Ganondorf's like, yeah, I'm totally going to pledge fealty to this King Rauru guy, no question. I'm totally not going to murder his wife and steal her secret stone.
Oh, for
and then
sure
he murders
not.
his wife and steals the secret stone and becomes like a fucking demon king god. And
Like Jason
while
Lee?
trying to figure out, of course, when you're trying to figure out how to fight him, when Zelda's trying to figure out what they can do to stop Ganondorf from ruining the world, she comes across the knowledge that if you eat a secret stone, you become crazy powerful, but you lose yourself. So eventually, when all other things go wrong, she decides to eat the secret stone. And what it does is it transforms her into a dragon.
Okay.
Which you see at the beginning of the game. When you first start the game, when you get off the Sky Island that you start on and you're diving down to Hyrule, that dragon flies by, which is actually Zelda, who is effectively a mindless dragon now, just kind of floating around. And the dragon has the Master Sword in its head. So that's how you have to get the Master Sword in this game. You have to find this dragon. You have to have enough stamina to do it, but then you have to like fly up into the sky somehow, catch a ride onto this dragon, go to its head, and then pull the sword out of the head, which is fucking amazing. It was such a good sequence. But so Zelda's a dragon, which is weird. So the first bout against when you actually get to fight Ganondorf is like sword fight, and then that goes fairly well for me. But then the second thing starts off, and he's just impossible to hit. Like, the things that damage him is the Master Sword, but like, he's crazy fast, and he can do that super cool dodge move that you can do. Like, I go to hit him, and he's just like slow motion dodges back. I'm like, well, fuck, that's not fair. I mean, it's completely fair. I do that to everybody, but still. I didn't come here for a fair fight. I came here to fuck shit up. And like, he almost got me. He really did. He got me down to like pretty low on my health. I over prepared like a lot. Like, even thinking, I didn't go in that confident. I knew that I was very strong. I had all the hearts and I had super fancy armor, but I prepared so many healing foods and meals and I prepared so much shit. But even with all that stuff, he hit so hard that you lose heart containers.
Oh, wow.
Like,
that's cool.
That heart container's gone now. There is no amount of healing that's bringing that back. It's just fucking gone. I'm like, well, shit.
I was going to use that later.
I was not prepared for that. So, I mean, granted, I had plenty, so I was able to take some hits, and I eventually got fairly reckless, but like, I didn't really figure out how to properly beat this guy. I wound up hitting him with ancient arrows. Like, at a certain point, I was just like, I don't know how to get close to him and hit him, but I have plenty of these, so I'm going to stay back here, and once I get a clear shot, I'm going to hit him with these until he dies. And then, like, so, like, the first battle is, like, empowering. The second battle is good luck, but the third battle was easy, but really cool, because Ganon gets super pissed off, and he eats his secret stone and turns into a fucking dragon. So then Zelda, you have to ride the Zelda dragon and fight the Ganon dragon. And it was really cool. It's just all flying around in the sky. There's fire everywhere, and you gotta jump down and like land on his back and hit this piece with your Master Sword. Then he flings you off, and Zelda's got to catch you, and then you got to fly her all the way back up into the sky, and then skydive back down onto the dragon's back. It is such a cool boss battle. I was really convinced that I hadn't done any story stuff in a long time.
Yeah.
Because I was just trying to find all the shrines. That's how I felt I was going to be done with this, is by finding all the shrines. And what I didn't realize was that the game kind of prepared for that eventuality of kind of stuffing a story bit in there that I kind of inadvertently didn't really skip over, but I did before the game had kind of intended me to. Like, you're supposed to go there with the sages, and then the game will be like, oh, but there's a fifth one. You got to go find that one. Okay. I accidentally found the fifth stage like way early, just in the depths. It's like, oh shit, Spirit Temple. I didn't know there was a Spirit Temple in this game. That's amazing. So once I went there to finally do the final boss, it plays out like it's this whole big reveal, like, oh, there's a fifth stage. I'm like, of course there's a fifth stage. Like, oh shit, you already found it. You already did that? That's amazing. All right, I guess let's go fight Ganon. And so I did. But I thought that any sort of emotional connection to the story was going to be very lost on me, because it had been so long since I had done anything story-wise,
Yeah.
and I wasn't nearly as impressed with the story in this game as I was with Breath of the Wild, that I thought that anything story-related was going to fall flat for me, but it absolutely didn't, and I was really surprised, because that's just how effective the ending was. Like,
Yeah.
Zelda was able to get turned back into a Zelda, and instead of a mindless
Instead of a
dragon with
dragon.
creepy eyes. It just worked, except for Yunobu, who is a terrible character. There's this one, the Goron character, Yunobu, is an absolutely awful character. He's stupid. He's worthless. I hate him. I hated him in Breath of the Wild, but he was barely in it. In this one, he's in it plenty, and he's fucking stupid, and I hate him. But everybody else is great. So, Tears of the Kingdom is a magnificent game, and it's any other game will have its work cut out for it to become Game of the Year over that one for me. But I did it. I finished the game.
Sure.
But that's not the only game that I played. I got a review code for the making of Karateka.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Which is really fucking cool.
I'm sure it is. I really want to check it out.
I have no connection to Karateka. I've never played it before. I didn't have an Apple II when I was growing up, so like I know of the game, and I know that it's important, and I know that it's what Jordan Mechner did before he did Prince of Persia, but like I've never actually played any version of Karateka before. And so being just such a huge fan of Atari 50, I could not wait to see how that approach was going to work for a single game. And it's like, it's deep. It goes in there. Like, it's talking about all the shit he did when he was a kid. I've only played one game so far, and it's not Karateka. I'm nowhere near that. Turns out that Jordan Mechner had created on his own, when he got his first Apple II, a really convincing clone of Asteroids. And it was so convincing that a company licensed it from him and was like, and was going to publish it. And like, he was like 16 at the time or something. Like, he was a kid, and they like licensed this really impressive version of Asteroids, which I thought was really neat. And then they let me play it. They had the actual fucking Apple II Asteroid Blast demo that he made, and it's really good. It's a really convincing version of Asteroids. Like, it's Asteroids on the Apple II, and it runs just like on a fucking Apple II. Like, the way the colors like fade in line by line, like, it was really cool to play that. And
that's pretty wild.
I played that. And that's about as far as I am in his story. I got past that, and then the second revision, because they got really spooked because Atari started cracking down on people cloning their games. Yeah. And so this book company that was trying to make the officially publish this Asteroids for Apple II was just like, you got to change a lot of things so we don't get sued. So like, can you make them into like bubbles, or change this into a smiley face? And he's like, no, we're just not doing this. And then the game never got published. Go figure. But so there's two different versions of that Asteroids demo on there to play around with, and that's about as far as I've gotten in the story so far. But it is fascinating. You listen to him like sitting there talking to his dad about like how he saved up for his computer and looking at all these old design documents. Like, if you are interested in game history, you have got to pick this up, because it is just an outstanding thing. It's just, I mean, Atari 50 was Atari 50. That's going to be hard to top, because it's, the history of Atari, one of the most important things ever. And this is just a single game. So like, there is way less actual gameplay than Atari 50, which has like a ton of games in it. But still, that approach works so well here, as the interactive timeline, the interactive, playable documentary.
Yeah, that sort of interactive documentary style that's fucking really cool.
I cannot wait to see what they do next with this Gold Series, and I can't wait to finish playing through this and actually experiencing Karateka the way within its historical context. Like, I'm really, really excited about it. It's fantastic. So, well,
and I think that's so interesting for you too, because you're not going to be unique in this situation of people who have not played Karateka.
Right, yeah. It's a pretty big success in the 80s PC scene, but like, that's a pretty small scene.
Yeah, relatively speaking, it did well for what it was, but it'll be interesting to see how those games, because Atari 50, like you said, like it's Atari 50, it's Atari, right? That's something very, very different than Karateka. So
Exactly.
to see how something like this performs and what kind of impact it has, because there are a lot of, like, I mean, you could do this with so many different games.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff.
Very excited to see where they go from here.
I mean, I
have no idea what they're gonna do next. I have no clue where they go from here. But like, this is a whole series that they're starting, and like, I can't wait. And the fucking menu music is done by Bob Baffy again. And like, I pointed it out on Twitter. I was like, was this Bob Baffy music again? Because I loved that menu music for Atari 50. I thought it was magical.
Yeah.
And this is a really similar situation. It's just, God, it's so good. And like, he confirmed it was him. And like I said, it's masterful. And he thanked me, which was a fun exchange. But yeah, dude, this is great stuff.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. How much is it going to be? Is it 40, 50, 60, 30? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. $20.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that price. I mean,
you can't afford not to buy it.
That's right. You can't. You're losing money.
All right. Besides Sea of Stars, what else did you play?
Nothing really this week. Like I said, I've been kind of focused on my new assignment at work and kind of get my feet around what's going on there. So really the main focus has been like, all right, I got a couple minutes. Let's jump into Sea of Stars.
All right. How far are you? Like, where are you right now? What's happening?
I finished last night. I finished the Elder Mist.
Okay, so you're just a little ahead of me.
Okay.
I just got to the Elder Mist section, and that's where I was like, well, I gotta go to bed. All right, so what are your thoughts on it so far?
I think it is really, really fucking good. Now,
Same here.
I did not play the demo.
Okay.
Because you talked about the demo, and I was like, yeah, that sounds fucking great. And then I kind of decided, like, I want to go into this with, kind of with nothing. I just want to just go into the game kind of the same way. I didn't play a demo for the Messenger. I just jumped into the Messenger, So I wanted to go into this the same way. And knowing that it was going to have Chrono Trigger vibes, and experiencing the Chrono Trigger vibes are two very, very different things, right? It really,
a lot of things claim to have Chrono Trigger vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the first game I've played that it has genuinely felt like this has the spirit of Chrono Trigger in it.
It really does. Like, I really felt the same way I felt when I was a kid playing through Chrono Trigger. And I can't really articulate what it is that separates this game from other games that have been, Chrono Trigger adjacent or whatever in the last 20, 25 years, however long it's been since Chrono Trigger came out. There's just a thing that Sea of Stars has, that is just really, really capturing that vibe. And it's fucking awesome. I really, really like it. I love from the opening sequence, with the archivist, like jumping out and like kind of sticking his head from behind the chair and winking at the screen. I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm sold. The music in this game is so fucking good. It's so good. Do we know if this is out on vinyl
28
yet?
Years ago, by the way. Chrono Trigger was 28 years ago.
Oh my god. I hate that.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
Hate that.
No, the soundtrack is not on vinyl yet. It was one of the it's going to probably come out around the same time as the physical editions.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Cuz that's something that I feel like I'm going to want to jump all over.
I am really enjoying the soundtrack.
what am I hearing? I couldn't place it last night, and it was driving me fucking crazy. But I was having a brain fart like I was last week when we were talking about records and putting the sleeves, and I kept saying the sleeve, and the sleeve. It's a fucking jacket, Chris. That's what it's called. I know that. You know that. We both know it's fucking called jacket. Why could neither of us say that last week? I don't fucking know. Anyway, what the sound that the text is making is very reminiscent of another game. Like when the different characters are talking. The specific, like, I couldn't quite place it, but I'm hearing it, and man, it was fucking driving me crazy. And if you didn't pick up on it, like next time you play through, listen to like the little, like as the words are appearing in the text boxes or whatever.
Is it Golden Sun?
Maybe? I don't fucking know.
My friend Angie is also playing this, and she's like, I'm getting big Golden Sun vibes from this. And it's like, I never really played Golden Sun. And that was this the first thing that came to mind. Like, maybe it's calling you back to Golden Sun. And
I'm not realizing that.
Because I know the sound you're talking about. Like, I can hear it in my head. Like, I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't sound familiar to me at all.
Maybe it is Golden Sun then. I don't know. It's been so long since I played through Golden Sun. But yeah, like there's definite like Chrono Trigger vibes. There's definite Golden Sun vibes. Man, like you fucking love Golden Sun. Anyway, the combat seems really, really fun so far. I love
very much enjoying that.
Spoilers, because you've gotten him at this point. But like spoilers for anybody who hasn't started the game yet. The warrior cook, Garl, when he joined, I was so excited. I was so happy
when he joined the party.
Too.
I don't know why. It was just so effective. Like it made me so happy when he joined up. Like they really did a good job of just expressing how much that character meant to these other two characters.
Yeah.
And like the fact that they're letting him go along. Like when we got to Elder Mist and he's like, yeah,
fuck it.
Yeah, sure, fuck it, come on in. Yeah, because he's like, no, I really want to do this. And he's like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not built for this, but
you shouldn't.
Go for it. Live the dream. You shouldn't. But you know what? Maybe it's a good thing. Let's do this.
Maybe this will work out. I was so happy. I'm so
glad to hear you say that because I was too. That hit me so hard, and I don't know why. But man, this game is hitting all the right notes for me. And when I said that a game's gonna have to be pretty goddamn special to dethrone Tears of the Kingdom, and all year long I've been saying Sea of Stars might be it.
It might be it.
I don't know. I really don't know. Until I finish this, I'm not gonna know which game I genuinely like better. But that's how much I'm loving Sea of Stars. Like I wish I could be playing more of it. I keep getting to it too late, and then I keep getting too tired to play. And like, I don't want to play this when I'm exhausted. I want to play it while trying to force myself to stay awake. Right. I want to be able to play it while I'm alert. And I haven't been able to put enough time.
That is the inherent flaw in RPGs for those of us who have schedules and families. I'm not even going to say families, like that's not fair. But who have schedules that have the demands that they have on us, like you and I do, and I know a couple of our listeners too, of like RPGs just don't work for us right now.
It's tough. Like that.
It's hard to fit it in.
Yeah, because that's what she said. Tears of the Kingdom.
I wish she did.
Tears of the Kingdom worked so well because like it didn't really matter what was going on with the story. There wasn't much there to lose track of. And like everything that I did, it was very clearly and thoroughly broken down of who was doing what, when, and why. Like it was all very easy to not pay attention to the story for weeks at a time and just turn my mind off and solve puzzles for a little while. But like Sea of Stars it's a linear story that I'm invested in, and I want to be able to keep up with it. So it's tough to play more than half an hour at a time. I think it's like maybe 60 hours. Like it's not super long. Oh God,
so, that is super long though.
I am. That's also what she said. But yeah, that is pretty long. by my standards, but like by our modern RPG standards, that's actually pretty damn short. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much this game costs because you were gracious enough to give me a review code that I didn't need because it's on PlayStation Plus, which worked out pretty well.
This thing has sold 100,000 copies.
That's amazing. And if you haven't bought it yet, you should.
But that's the thing. Its first day, it's sold 100,000 copies, and it is on PlayStation Plus and Game Pass. So
that's
obviously most
wild.
of those 100,000 copies are probably on Switch because who's buying it on those other platforms when it's just, available? So like, that's crazy that this game is already performing that well. That's phenomenal. But yes, sorry, go on.
So like, I mean, that's just whatever the price is, it's worth it.
Yeah, no question.
I think it's like $30 or something.
I
don't know.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's worth it. I paid a bunch to have the physical version, so I'm fine. I'm getting this game physically eventually, which I'll probably never get the Messenger physical because it's goes for like $1 bajillion on eBay on the aftermarket. But
what are they doing a separate physical release? Did they already do that? Because I know there was the Kickstarter release.
Okay, so the Kickstarter physical release, and yes, there is going to be a separate, just regular retail physical release.
And not like limited run or anything like that.
I think limited run's doing. I think the Kickstarter one. I don't remember.
Okay.
There's two different physical versions, one for the Kickstarters and one not. And I think they have like different covers or something. But yeah, the game's going to be pretty readily available, which I think is phenomenal.
I feel like this is a game that I would like to throw some money at.
I'm
much
glad
in the
I
same
did.
way, much in the same way that like, I wish I could just go buy Inscription right now. Like I wish I could just walk into the store and buy it. I'm not quite there with Sea of Stars yet because I'm only like an hour or so into the game. I don't know. I'm actually about like 2 hours into the game, but I did have to. I forget. I started the game and then it was like, oh fuck, I need to run to the store because we desperately need this thing and it has to happen right now. So like I left the game paused for like 40 minutes. So my playtime is definitely skewed, but I'm not quite at like, yes, I want to pay for this game even though I've already completed it. But I feel like I might at some point. Like I definitely want to pick up the soundtrack for this.
Yeah, loving the music. Can't wait to hear more of it. Yeah.
I would have to imagine when we get some sort of soundtrack release, though, it's going to be some sort of double LP, fucking whatever.
Oh, it is. Yeah, they did on the. Where is that on? Let me look at the Kickstarter page. No, it's not listed on your. Oh, the Sea of Stars double vinyl.
Double, okay.
Exclusive colorway.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's going to be a beefy one.
Cool. Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah, me too. So, off to a great start. Fucking love it. Hooray for Sea of Stars. I guess the only other thing to talk about before we take our break is they did a Nintendo Direct just for Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
I watched none of it.
Not surprised.
It's just, was it awesome? Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Okay.
They're doing a lot of really creative stuff with this, which, when you think about when they announced this, I was like, well, it's a 2D Mario game.
Yeah.
What are they going to talk about for an entire Nintendo Direct? And like, they filled it up with some really interesting stuff. So it's got a really big player selection, which is neat. The playable characters off the bat, I don't know if there's going to be unlockables. I'd like to hope there will be. But off the bat, you can be Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, Blue Toad, Yellow Toad, or Toadette.
Okay.
They all play the same. So they took away the unique attributes of those characters. Everybody plays the same. So there's good stuff here. I promise.
Off the jump, I don't love that, but
right.
I also don't care.
I felt the same way, but they introduced something else that made me that kind of negates this. Not really negates it, but it balances it out. So the point of this seems to be there has been a lot of effort on making this game's local multiplayer not ruin the game.
Okay.
Because that's one of my biggest problems with, like, in theory, New Super Mario Bros. U is a great multiplayer game. In practice, it fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's just devolves into this massive chaos, and, like, especially when it's two grown-ups playing with two kids, it's like, whenever
it's
there's
just
people
nonsense.
with different skill sets, it's super frustrating for the people who aren't good, because they keep dying over and over again, and they spend half the time floating around in the bubble.
Right.
There have been some really, really smart tweaks to the way this game works that seem like the local multiplayer is going to be legitimately fun for everybody. And I love it. So those characters all play the same. However, there are also 4 different colored Yoshis and Nabbit, and they play a little differently. The Yoshis are invincible to enemy attacks, but they can still die if they fall in a hole.
Okay.
They also have the Yoshi Flutter Jump. They can eat things with the tongue, and anybody can ride them, including other Yoshis, which is funny.
I did see a picture of Elephant Mario riding a Yoshi that I thought was pretty funny.
And Yoshi seems pretty unhappy about it.
Yeah, pretty non-pleased.
So the Yoshis are basically your easy mode,
Right.
and they don't have to be unlocked, or it's not like a special badge you wear or a super special power up. It's just like, if you want this game to be easier, you play as Yoshi or any of the colored Yoshis or Nabbit, which I think is pretty neat. So
neat.
off the bat, you don't have to worry about, oh, I wanted to be Princess because she can float. Like,
right.
There's no fighting. Every character plays the same now, except the Yoshis. So, like, that kind of removes that one aspect of it. Characters can inhabit the same space now, which is another huge problem with New Super Mario Bros. Games. The 3D games, it really doesn't matter all that much because it's a 3D space. But in the 2D games, you were always bumping into each other and knocking each other into pits. That's no longer an issue. You can inhabit the same space now. Hooray! That makes me very happy.
Yeah.
They showed off, the new world, kind of the new story, which is fucking absurd.
Of course it is.
Bowser gets a weird flower and merges with a castle. So now he's a floating castle.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
Sure, let's do it. I'm in. The new power-ups are the elephant power-up, which everybody can get. There was a lot of talk of, like, I guess Mario is the only one who can get the elephant, because what animals are the other characters going to turn into? Like, no, everyone can turn to the elephants, and they look weird as shit. I love it. It's like they look really fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
There's a bubble flower, so, like, this one's gonna like be crazy for speedrunners, because you can throw bubbles that float in the air that can kind of bubble bobble style catch enemies, but also like bubble bobble, you can use them to bounce off of.
That's
so,
pretty
like, you
cool.
can kind of create your own platforms with it. Speedrunners are going to have a fucking field day with that power up.
Yeah.
What was the other one? It was the elephant, the bubbles. Shit, what was the other one that's going to drive me crazy? I gotta load it up. Darn it, I really thought I could do this all from memory, but
I don't think it was shit. The shit power up is fucking crazy.
it definitely wasn't the shit power up. That would be weird. Mario Wonder Direct. I'm gonna kick myself right in the nuts as soon as I see this power up. It looks really good. I really like the way this game looks. The art style is like, it actually has a lot of personality, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
All right, so there's the elephant. There's the bubble. What's the third one? Oh, it's the drill. So you can get this, like, drill power up where you can drill through walls, but you can also, like, drill into the ground and, like, move around the perimeter. So you can drill into the ground or drill into the ceiling and just kind of, like, be under the perimeter and, like, shift yourself around, which is really neat.
That's cool.
So I know the way that they're handling online is pissing some people off, but I think it's brilliant. Because the way they're handling online play is that you're not directly playing with other people, like, as in, it's just mimicking the local multiplayer experience.
Yeah.
You're basically playing the same level at the same time, but you can have like as many people doing it as you want, and they all appear as these like ghosts during the stage. Like they're just kind of like ghosts, kind of like Mario Kart style ghosts.
Yeah.
But you can interact with them. So the way the death works in this game is if you die in like New Super Mario Brothers, you'd die and you'd show back up in the bubble, and like you'd lose a life, but then you have to get like popped out of the bubble. In this one, if you die, you turn into a ghost, and you only lose a life if nobody saves you when you're in ghost form. So like you have a time limit as a ghost, and if that runs out, then you actually lose a life. But you can actually not lose a life as long as somebody saves you. And any of the other people that are playing online, if they touch you, pop you out of that ghost phase. You can also create like midway points. You can put these standees throughout the stage, like in a specific spot, and you can use those that if you die, you can float over to it as the ghost and save yourself.
Okay.
Which I think is, I think that's really
pretty cool.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I like that quite a bit. And then you can also, excuse me, you can create races with people. So like if you all choose to do a stage at the same time, you can place this block, and everybody who hits the block, it starts a race to the finish. So like you're trying to race against other people online to see who can beat the level fastest, which I think in practice, all of that is far more fun than trying to actually play through the campaign as if you were playing with people locally.
Yeah.
I think that is a much more fun way to do it. You don't have to worry about lag, internet lag, or at all. You don't have to worry about the Switch's shitty online capabilities, because like you're kind of doing your own thing while other people are doing their own thing, but you're also kind of passively interacting with each other while you're doing it. I think that's pretty great.
Yeah. That actually, that sounds like a relatively clever workaround for the shittiness.
It's a pretty creative compromise,
of the Wii, like knowing that it's going to suck, because the Wii Online doesn't
Switch.
suck. Or Switch. Did I say Wii? Fuck, I'm
it's
tired. It's been a long week. I'm very tired. But like, it doesn't suck, but it's not good.
Yeah, it innately doesn't suck, but when compared to literally everything else, yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah.
As long as you compare it to nothing, it's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so here's the thing that makes up for the characters not having individual attributes. There's a badge system in this, so you can unlock different badges, and you can equip one badge per stage, and the badges give you, you can use only one of them at a time, and each badge gives you a unique attribute. So like one of the badges that they showed in the trailer, there's like pictures of 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 15 pictured in the trailer. They only go over a couple of them of what they do. Like one of them is the parachute cap.
Okay.
So you can basically float with the parachute cap, like when you would be floating down with you, like the Tanuki tail or the rabbit ears from Mario Land 2, you know?
Yeah.
You jump, and then he pulls out the cat, his hat gets super big, and you can parachute down with it. So that's an ability that you can give to your character but like that's the one you do. Or there's a wall climb jump. Like this, it allows you to like stick to walls longer and climb walls longer. There's a dolphin kick, which makes you swim kind of like you have the frog suit. There's the crouching high jump from Mario 2. It's like you crouch for a second and charge it up, and then you can jump super high.
Yeah.
Like that's an attribute you can add. There's a grappling vine that like you jump and like you can grab walls with this vine and pull yourself closer to it. There's a sensor that you can add so you can find secrets easier. There's a coin magnet that you can attach. There's also weird shit like there's an invisibility one that turns you completely invisible, which makes the game harder because you can't see yourself.
Okay.
There's a jet run that makes it so you're constantly running at top speed and you can't stop. So there's a whole bunch of these badges where every player can add a unique attribute to themselves. They just get to choose what that attribute is, and it's not tied to a specific character. Which I think is great.
That sounds pretty cool.
I was not expecting it to be this clever. Like,
yeah,
they're just coming up with all this different shit. Like, this has never been done in a 2D Mario game before. You'd think they would have done all of this by now, or like I wouldn't be surprised by things, but like I didn't see this badge system coming from a mile away. Like, well, I was like, at first I was like, they don't play differently. I kind of like I want Luigi to do the big jump and be slippery and all that stuff. And then I'm like, but I never really used that character. But I like the ability to float as the princess. Oh, anybody can do that. You just have to equip the badge that lets you do that. So like, you can customize the characters to be what you want them to be.
Yeah.
And then you can change that from stage to stage, which I think is super cool because then you can figure out which power-up works best for which stage. And you can like change them on the fly. Like, I missed one of them. One of them was like, it allows you to, which one is this? The safety bounce. So like, let's say they demo it on a stage where there's lava everywhere.
Okay.
And like you fall into the lava and your character automatically bounces off of it safely. I don't know how many times it works, but it's that's the way it looked, the safety bounce. So there's just a ton of these little things you can use to augment your characters. And like when you think about safety bounce, like, oh, okay, I get it. That makes things easier for little kids. But then you think about it like, what could that do for speedrunning on specific stages? Like, can you use it to like find shortcuts?
Right. How can you use that to break the game in new interesting ways?
Exactly. Or maybe not even break it. Like maybe there are specific secrets that you can only find if you use this thing in this place. Like I'm looking at how much they've put into this. Like there's just, it looks chaotic, but in a really manageable sort of way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, the art style is just so expressive. It's so different from the really sterile Mario look that's been around for a while in 2D Mario games. Like they're so expressive. It's great. And I gotta say, I can't tell the difference with the voice. Like Charles Martinet confirmed it's not him in this game. And I'm like, I mean, I guess if I'm really listening to it, I could kind of tell that's not him going wah and wahoo. But
but
I don't know, man. I don't mean to minimize the guy's work. I mean, I don't, because like it's an iconic voice. There's no getting around it, and I respect the hell out of it.
Sure,
but, like, I kind of feel
also
like people
not
are
much.
People are making way too big a deal out of him not being the voice of Mario anymore. Because it's like I don't hear much of a difference.
And you're a fucking super freak for this shit.
Fucking designs on some of these things, like it just looks so joyous. Oh, you can turn the talking flowers off. Like there was a thing in the trailer, I think you remember from the Nintendo Direct a while back, that like there were these talking flowers that would like just talk to you while you're playing the game. Yeah. You can turn their voices off. That's something you can toggle. So I'm gonna try it with them on first, just to see how if they annoy me. Because I feel like they might, but like, they're gonna... I feel like they might, but they also have a pretty fun purpose in the game. They're all these interesting little secrets. They'll be like, I'm thirsty. And so you get near them and you give them, so you go find some water and you give one of them water and it makes vines grow. So like they are an interactive part of the environment. They're not just there for the shits of it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It is incredibly thoughtful. I can't believe
it comes out this year, right?
It comes out October 20th.
Yeah, I was going to
Sonic Superstars comes out October 17th.
That's wild.
So the new 2D Sonic game is coming out 3 days before the new 2D Mario game.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
I mean, I'm sure Sonic will do okay. I'm sure Sonic's going to do just fine. But like, I feel like releasing it right next to Mario is really going to cannibalize some of its sales. Because like, I'm not going to buy it straight away. I'm going to buy this new Sonic game. I think it looks great. I genuinely like 2D Sonic games, and this looks like a really fun multiplayer 2D Sonic game that I might be able to play with the family. But it's not Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll do fine on the other platforms, but like I feel like Switch is where most of this game's audience is, and it really does look good. It's a very pretty game. I can't believe both these games are coming out back to back like this.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
We're getting a new 2D Sonic, a new 2D Mario, and early next year we're getting a new 2D Prince of Persia. Like,
what is happening?
It's like all of a sudden people are like, hey, you know what? We could make good 2D, two-dimensional games. Like Ubisoft doing that, and there's a rumor that there's a new HD port of Beyond Good and Evil going to be hitting platforms soon.
I know,
like,
but fuck them.
I mean, fuck them all the way. Like,
because where is Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Hopefully canceled. Hopefully it's in a fucking garbage bin and they're starting over again. Hopefully they're going Metroid Prime 4 on it, because I have not even vaguely liked an inch of anything they've showed in the last 20 goddamn years of Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Jesus Christ.
Fine. Re-wrap the first game so I can play it again. And I'm fine with that. And then maybe someday do a proper sequel to that game. I don't want a prequel that's all open world and
stupid.
I hope it's gotten canceled, because that game was all about the buzzwords of like 15 years ago. And now all that's nobody's playing games like that anymore. So nobody's making games like that anymore. So back to the drawing board. Just do more of what the first game was. Make a goddamn sequel. Don't reinvent the wheel. Lunatics. Anyways, we should take a break and then talk about the PlayStation Vita for a few minutes.
Yeah. That's about it.
Oh boy, yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna do the PlayStation Vita starter kit. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from geekade.com. Stick around. Okay, everybody, we are back. It is time to talk about the PlayStation Vita with the Stone Age Gamer Starter Kit. If you are unfamiliar with it, this is a monthly segment that we do where we go look back at a game systems library and we come up with the best options. If you only had $100 to spend to start a physical collection, you already have the system and whatever accessories required to put together a physical library with $100 to get started with. Based off of price charting, not taking imports into account. It's just North American releases. Obviously, there are better ways to do this.
North American physical.
Just North American physical releases, no imports. These are the rules just to make it for a fun conversation, right? This is what you should do. This is just in the interest of making a fun conversation. Can't stress it enough.
I will say this was an interesting one because for the first time, I think, as I was going through the price charting list, I was looking at the limited run cover art for some of these games. You know, it was like, oh, fuck, I forgot they did Guacamelee physical. No, I didn't forget. It was fucking limited run games. That's why it's fucking physical, you know? And I don't think we've come across that yet.
This is the first platform we're doing where the vast majority of its library was digital only.
Yeah, so I mean, not all of the best games were digital only, but a lot of the best games were digital only. And this really was a system that was better digitally.
Yeah, and this was kind of before the, like, where we are with the Switch, where most indie games will eventually get a physical release if there's any interest in them.
Right.
This was kind of before that. So it started to happen around Vita, where like a game might get a physical release through limited run.
Yeah.
But like they were much more limited then. So I don't know, man.
This was a really hard list for me to put together because I needed $9 more is what I needed.
Right. I needed something around that too.
Yeah.
I think the games are already pretty expensive for this platform.
They really Why is The Binding of Isaac $3,500?
I don't know. There must be like 4 of them out there or something.
Was it because I know Binding of Isaac has been controversial because of the content and whatever, but like, is there a version of that game that was pulled, and that's why? Because it is way more expensive. Like, there's a couple of expensive Vita games, And for the most part, the price is pretty high. Like, a lot of games are tracking in, like, any of the games that you'd be interested in are in, like, the $40 to $60 range. But, like, Binding of Isaac Rebirth is, I'm sorry, it's not $3,500. I don't want to be fucking extremist or anything. It's $3,354. But then, like, the next most expensive game is VVVVV, which is $965. So that's a pretty, like, still crazy expensive, but a big jump between the two of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to imagine it was something where, like, the Binding of Isaac Rebirth got pulled because it was just so fucking offensive. Because it really, I don't know if you've played any of that game. It's pretty offensive if you're, you know, that type of person.
If you're the type to be offended.
If you're the type to be offended by things, this is not a game you should play. Or maybe it is, so you can stop being such a punk-ass little bitch. One of the two. I'm not sure which it is.
Well, I don't have much love for the Vita. I have one. It is a great system with nothing on it. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty on it.
There's so much good stuff on it.
I'm sure there is, but I just never got into this system. I have one, and I have exactly 2 games for it, and one of them I didn't even buy. One of them was a game that I lent my Vita to somebody else so they could play it. And so they were like, if you let me borrow the Vita, I'll just buy the game, and then you can have it when I'm done with it.
Sure.
I've barely touched the thing. It is such a great piece of hardware, but they did not do anything with that system that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
They just didn't. And that's sad, because it's a neat system.
It's a great system that just... PlayStation has never really figured out how to do the portable thing right. And it's a shame because there's a lot of really good shit on here, and it's really more expensive than what our list is capable of.
It's really wild that this system, this is the Wii U of handheld systems.
It really is.
Because, like, the PSP, I mean, the PSP was a success. It wasn't the DS, but, like,
no,
almost nothing in history was. The DS was an insanely successful platform.
Kind of asking a lot.
They took the success of the PSP and just made it worse in every way.
In every conceivable way.
We're going to do this again, but we're going to give it a stupid name, and we're going to make the memory system, we're going to make the memory cards proprietary.
Yep.
We're going to make very few games for it, and it's just going to be a mess, and we're going to have fun with that. It's like, what? How did this go so poorly?
And also, in the middle of this thing's, like, not even in the middle. I don't think they intended it to be the middle at that point anyway, but early on in the life cycle of this thing, we're also going to release the PS TV. That is going to further confuse and confuzzle the market. Yeah. Because what I have one. What is that thing favors. For? It plays some games, not all of them. It's very weird. You're giving me a way to play PlayStation Portable and Vita games on my television, but not use the Vita itself as a controller, so I can't play things like Uncharted. I mean, okay, it's a bold strategy.
It's a weird move. A lot of weird moves here.
Yeah. Anyway,
so you said you had what, 5 games?
I have 4 games. I needed $9 to get the 4 that I wanted. So, all right. You start us off.
I'll drop first. I picked for $6 MLB 12, the show, because how bad could it be?
It's not. The show games were great, portable.
I imagine it is.
They were great. I mean, for what they were. You know, it's not the full-fledged console experience, obviously, but it's portable baseball, and portable baseball is better than no baseball.
That's what I thought.
Speaking of, Chris, just as an aside, before we started the podcast, the Yankees have been dog shit this year. I hope Brian Cashman dies in a fire. I do. I want all the bad things in the world to happen to him and nobody else. That being said, the Yankees, in just a move of utter desperation, their 5 through 9 hitters in this evening's game against their heated rivals, the dreaded Houston Astros, their 5 through 9 hitters were all 23 or younger. And they had 2 kids tonight making their MLB debuts. Austin Wells, who is a catcher, who is eventually going to be a first baseman because for some reason the Yankees think they're smarter than everybody else when everybody else is like, yeah, that dude's not a catcher. Sorry. Like, he's going to be a first baseman, but, keep fucking throwing shit against the wall, see if it sticks. He's a really good hitter, not a great catcher. Anyway, really, really excited about him. But there's a kid that the Yankees signed 4 years ago as a 16-year-old named Jason Dominguez. And his nickname has been the Martian because he's out of this world, right? He's this once-in-a-lifetime prospect. He is getting, his comparison when he's as a 16-year-old, Chris. Remember what you were doing when you were 16, right? A whole lot of fucking nothing. Right, is what you were doing when you were 16. Same thing I was doing. We were not getting comparisons to Mike Trout and Mickey fucking Mantle, which is what Jason Dominguez, who he was compared to when he signed. Okay, so that's kind of a lot of hype to live up to. But it's a great nickname, right? The Martian. Wonderful nickname. Makes his MLB debut tonight. His very first swing on an 0-1 count. He took a pitch from Justin Verlander. It was a strike. It was a slider. Then Verlander tried to throw him a fastball. And Jason Dominguez's very first swing in Major League Baseball was an opposite field home run. And the call and the headline and everything has already been written, and it's fantastic. The Martian has landed. Fucking love it. It's the only thing that has given me joy in the Yankees season this year. I digress. Fuck Brian Cashman and his stupid face. I hate him so much. Oh, God. It's a good pick. MLB The Show is a good pick. And you can create Jason Dominguez and have a lot of fun with that. All right. My first pick is by far the most expensive game on my list, but it is the best game on the PlayStation Vita. And there is a version for the PlayStation 4 that is also really, really good. But if you are buying a Vita, this was the reason to have one back in the day. And that is the $38 Gravity Rush.
Gravity Rush, yeah, that's a good call.
Gravity Rush is a really, really good fucking game.
So I've heard.
It's not just a good Vita game. It's a really good fucking game. It is one of the most unsung of the PlayStation catalog. The way that you manipulate the world and change the gravity. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. The gravity manipulation is implemented really, really well. The game is just super fucking fun to play. It's super fun to control and do all of the shit in the world. Sometimes you play a game and you're like, there's a lot of really cool ideas in here. And nope. This is fucking bumming me out. You know what I mean? Because this just isn't fun to play. Kind of, what was the game you had talked about a couple months? Spider Sores?
Spider Sores.
Yeah, where you were like, this is really cool, but it's not fucking fun to play.
Yeah.
There's cool shit to do, but it's not fun.
Yep, that's Spider Sores, all right.
That's a bummer. Gravity Rush is completely the opposite. There's a lot of really cool shit to do, and it's really fucking fun to do it. This game fucking rules. It's great. If you are going to have a Vita in your collection, this, I would argue, before any other game, is the game that you need to play. It's $38. You can probably get the PlayStation 4 version cheaper, But like, there's some differences in the touch controls and the different things you could do. Because the Vita had the cool back screen or the back touch panel. There's just there's different stuff that is in the Vita version, and it's a really fucking solid game.
Well, I hope it's not a liquid game.
Funny.
Hey, that's the comedy you're getting out of me right now.
That's fair.
I'm fucking toast. All right, let's do this thing. Let's keep it going. Okay. My next pick for $27 is the game that guy, my friend Mauricio, borrowed my PlayStation Vita so he could play Persona 4 Golden.
All right, wait. Before you talk about that, I have a game before that.
I don't have anything to say about it. I've never fucking played it before. I heard Persona's great, but it's $27. That's all I have to say about it. Ta-da.
I mean, it's a really good RPG. It's Persona if you like Persona, like if you're into that world and what they've built with it. It's really good. It's a really long, really solid RPG.
I am hilariously unqualified to talk about any of this shit tonight.
It's good.
What do you got, Dan? What do you got?
The game that I had before that was for $11 because I didn't have the extra $9 I needed. Was Hot Shots Golf World Invitational because it's Hot Shots Golf. What more do you need?
What more do you want to hear?
Hot Shots Golf, PlayStation Portable. Yes, please and thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
all right.
Love it.
Well, my next
love everything
pick
about it.
At $14 is PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Because I don't know. Sure. I think it's a game that people like, and it was $14 fucking dollars, and it's one of the top, I don't know, maybe 50 rated games on the Vita, and it's got Kratos in it, and he can punch Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, the hit new series on Peacock.
Man, I really got to watch that. I really do want to.
I heard it's great.
I'm sure it is. How could it not be?
Right? I mean,
very easily. Very easily.
Very easily fuck this up. But I'm glad they apparently didn't. All right. Sure. PlayStation. Go. Do things.
PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is maybe a game that was good. I don't like that type of game, though. I don't like Smash Brothers either. And like, I'm not. That's fine. I'm not saying that it's as good as Smash Brothers. By any stretch of the imagination, because it definitely isn't.
It is on the Vita.
But it is indeed on the Vita.
It is a Vita game that you can buy for $14.
The last game that I have, Chris, and I don't know how you feel about Media Molecule and what they've done with Little Big. I actually do know how you feel about Media Molecule and what they've done with like Little Big Planet and that sort of stuff, and how it was like, man, this should be better.
Sackboy is cute.
Sackboy is great. Oh. This should be better than what it is. What I think is possibly their best game is Tearaway. Tearaway is a Vita game, $22, and it is incredibly clever. If you imagine all of the stuff that, like, when they were talking about Little Big Planet and all of the creativity and all of the interesting things that they had talked about, like, we really want to give people control and do all these cool, interesting platformer type things and blah, 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 whatever. It's possibly the most Nintendo game that you will ever play on a PlayStation platform. It just does really interesting, clever, creative things with how you interact with the world. Kind of in the same way. What was the Yoshi Woolly World? Like, that had a ton of, like, really interesting, like, cool, creative, like, oh, I interact and I do this thing and I move this and all of, like, these weird, like, you're manipulating backgrounds and moving stuff, and, like, that was Woolly World, right? Or was that a Kirby game? I don't know.
Yoshi's Woolly World was on the Wii U that had a lot of that cool shit on it. And then they did Yoshi's Crafted World on Switch, which was just okay.
Yeah, it's I feel like Yoshi's Woolly World is a good comparison for what Tearaway is. It's got a really good little story. It's just a really, really good little fucking game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it, so it didn't make my list.
I feel like it's a game that you would absolutely love. I feel like your kids would really like it. Because it just does a lot of that really cool, clever stuff, and it's very Nintendo.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
and the main character is really cute.
What you definitely shouldn't buy, I'd say to avoid this one, is you can get Symphony of the Night on the Vita.
Sure.
You shouldn't, because the controls are terrible. Like the wolf transformation is like up on the D-pad or something. And
okay.
So you just accidentally turn to the wolf all the time because it doesn't have like the double trigger button. I just got so tired.
I noticed. Oh my god! I was going to start like talking about like the papercraft stuff in Tearaway and all of that, but like, nope. We're just going to move on, and you're going to say don't buy this, and we're going to say good night, everybody.
No, I got 2 games left, Dan. I got 2 games. 2 games. One is the other one that I own. I bought this one with $. It's fucking Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because that game is perfectly adequate and it functions on the Vita. And
it is perfectly adequate.
Game that you can play on the Vita, and it looks nice, and if for that game it plays very well. I really ultimately didn't love MVC3. I loved Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 I was super excited for, and it was like, I don't know, man.
It's not Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Not, yeah, it's missing. It doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't have. It's not stupid enough, I think is the word. I think
if it were hand-drawn sprites, it would have been perfect.
Went a long way.
That would have been it. That's what it's missing.
Well, I mean, like I remember watching Evo around when this game was out, and this game was so fucking boring to watch. It was so boring.
Because it's a boring game to look at.
It's because, okay, well, this guy started a combo, and now he's just going to do this for like 5 minutes. And there's nothing the other guy can do about it. It's just like, let's watch him rack up a like 550 hit combo.
And there's no voice that's about to pop in from the heavens and go, combo breaker.
Like fucking high level Killer Instinct. That was really fun to watch. Remember when that new Killer Instinct for Xbox, like it really got its shit together? And like I started watching some tournament play on that. That game is amazing to watch. It's super fun, just like Street Fighter is. But like, man, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom was just like, oh, this is fucking boring, man.
This isn't great.
I remember playing it online, and it happened to me. Like, I played it online once, and it was like some dude just opened up a combo, and I was like, well, now what am I supposed to fucking do? Like,
now I'll just sit here, I guess.
I'll just sit here and watch it happen. Like,
get beat.
This is a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
But still, it's $30 goddamn dollars, but it's a game that I know, and it's like one of the 3 games I've played on the Vita, so go for it. And then the last one is Uncharted Golden Abyss, because that's another one I played like a couple of minutes of, and it's a pretty cool game because Uncharted games are all awesome, and you should buy them and play them. And this game's problem was like, it was a full-fledged Uncharted game on a handheld, and I don't think anybody really wanted that. They're like, okay, but it's like watching the Avengers on your fucking phone. Like,
like you could.
You can do this, but the point is that it's like big and bombastic, not like tiny. I don't know.
I disagree.
It's Uncharted.
Golden Abyss is fucking awesome, and that is the game. Like, I needed $9 more to take off Hot Shots and put Uncharted Golden Abyss. So I'm amending the rules of this contest for this episode, and that is my. It's $109, but I strongly believe that if you have a Vita and you spent $109 on Gravity Rush, Persona 4 Golden, Tearaway, and Uncharted Golden Abyss, you need not play another game on the Vita. You're good.
I think you have seen its library.
And those are 4 great games.
Yeah.
Different, interesting. They all do different things. Hot Shots is fun, but you fucking played Hot Shots before. Everybody's seen a bird in an airport, Chris. But a horse in a hospital. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Okay.
Good night.
So So I cut Rayman Origins because it was $16, and it's a good game, but it just didn't make it. I cut Metal Gear Solid HD Collection because it's $43 goddamn dollars.
Yeah.
I cut Need for Speed Most Wanted, Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, and Touch My Katamari, which is $38.
I know that this is a very expensive system to collect for. That's why, like, legitimately, if you are a collector who's like, man, I'm interested in Vita stuff, I don't know like what's good or not. Legit, Gravity Rush, Persona 4 Golden, Tearaway, Uncharted Golden Abyss. And you're like, you've played the best games on the system, and almost everything else that's on it. Like, one of the things working against the Vita is that it didn't have a ton of exclusive to the Vita content.
Right.
Like, almost everything got ported to something else or was a port on the Vita. Like, Uncharted Golden Abyss, the only place to play that is on the Vita. Because there's a bunch of stuff that you need to do to interact with the world. Because
specific controls, yeah.
It has that. There's like a lot of the climbing is done with the touchscreen on the back, and like it works really well. And you could change that and port it to a different system, but they haven't.
Well, maybe someday I'll get the Metroid Prime Remaster treatment.
There you go. I really hope it does. It's a really good game.
I hope so too.
And like, it's kind of this
Uncharted.
This like weird hole in the Uncharted catalog and all of the releases that Uncharted has had. That one, but like Gravity Rush had a bunch of that stuff. They fucking changed it when they put it on PS4, and then for the sequel, obviously they did whatever. But there's just
weird holes.
Yeah. Weird holes, my favorite thing.
I love weird holes.
That's what I'm into this week. Type that into Reddit real quick. Hold on. Let's see what happens. What pops up when I type in weird holes? Wonder how quickly it yells not safe for work at me. Oh, yeah. Oh boy. It's a whole bunch.
All right, so it looks like we got two listener lists here.
Okay, well, hold on.
Man. Okay.
I'm going to pull it open on the Discord, and I'm going to read it because you're super tired.
No, this will be more fun. Trash Man says, don't have a lot of Vita experience. I'm right there with you, Trash Man. So he recommends the Swapper for $30. You're stranded on a space station. In your search to escape, you find a device which can seemingly clone the human body. The device allows the transference of a consciousness between said clones. You must utilize this newfound technology to navigate the space station and hopefully rejoin humanity. Good puzzle platformer that only ever saw physical release on the Vita and PS4. That's all I ever played on Vita. Now take your $70 and go get Thai food. I recommend massaman curry and pineapple fried rice.
On fucking Thai iced tea. Thai iced tea is my shit.
On one game and $70 on Thai food. Fucking do it.
Thai food's fucking great.
Good job. The next one is Duroc Pig. Tearaway, nice. Uncharted Golden Abyss, nice. Army Corps of Hell, never heard of it. Okay. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, right there with you, pal. Wipeout 2048. Hot Shots Golf World Invitational, comes to $99.41. All right,
that's good.
Cut Muramasa Rebirth, Gravity Rush, Sly Cooper, and Rayman Legends. Says Uncharted on Vita is phenomenal. The touchscreen stuff is a bit annoying, but once I started playing it, I couldn't put it down. It's a crying shame Muramasa Rebirth hasn't been made available elsewhere.
That's
now,
so
this
expensive.
is reminding me. I told somebody to say something about fucking Flashback. There it is. 8/24, right? I didn't miss this. Yes. Scion Storm. He wanted to say something about Flashback, and he didn't realize it that we had done the Flashback episode when we did it. So I said, just write something in here. We'll read it on the show. So this is what Scion Storm had to say about Flashback for the Super Series. I probably should I read this last week? When was the 24th?
Did you read this last week? I don't remember.
I don't think I did. I feel like I skipped this entirely. Yeah, I should have read this last week, and I didn't because I'm a jerk. All right, well, I'm reading it this week, Scion Storm. I'm sorry I forgot because... And maybe I didn't forget. Maybe I'm reading this for the second time. And if I am, I'm sorry to all of our listeners. But fuck it, I'm doing it now. Scion Storm. Flashback is one of my all-time favorite games. It's a deeply flawed, endlessly fascinating piece of history. I first played it on my Super Nintendo and fell in love with the world building. It reminded me of my favorite sci-fi movies. The animation was just stunning. I could never understand how they managed to get the movement to be so lifelike and realistic. The music, while sparse, was vibrant and just oozed of cool. Little did I know it would influence my gaming habits for the next 3 decades, and although the Super Nintendo version was kind of a mess, lots of slowdown factored in with gameplay quirks equals a bit of a mess, to this day it's my favorite version, and the only version I've beaten over and over again. And the music, my god, the music. Excuse me. Yeah, there were only little stings here and there, but the full-length tracks were absolute bangers. They helped flesh out this world in a way that I had never seen before. The 360 remake was a massive disappointment. It completely lacked the heart and soul of the original game, but I still bought it, still hoped for the best, still tried to find redeeming qualities to it, but I always came back to the original. I'll always love this game, warts and all. Tried to speak from the heart rather than rehash covered ground. Well done, Scion Storm. I love what you said. I really did like Flashback, and
yeah,
I
it's
really
great.
do hope to get back to it someday and try and finish it, because I did not play as much as I should have. But yeah, this is that was well done. Well said.
Yeah, good stuff, man.
And that is our show.
Join us next week.
Go!
I don't know.
Show notes.
What are we doing? I don't have the script up.
That is our show. Join us next week for the Alphabet Super Series. This month's letter was G, and we'll be playing Guerrilla War for the NES. I'm also going to try to play the arcade version.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Pretty sure I can.
I started
yeah,
that.
I used to love Guerrilla War on NES when I was a kid, and I'm looking forward to going back to it this week. Hopefully, before I forget it again.
Yeah.
I hope I save myself enough time. That's the hope, the ultimate hope. All right, that's our show. Join us next week. We'll be. I already said that part. We're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we are very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to the show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep the show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for not telling me he was going to be out of town this week, so I'll be editing the show. Dude, come on. You just tell me. It's fine. Just let me know ahead of time so that I can make plans.
Don't tell him, Evan. I like this way better.
He's
so much funnier. I know.
He's not going to listen to the show. Why would he?
I know.
I'm just talking to the air. Just
imagine how Angie feels.
Nah. Anyway, that's it. We'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. I love everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.